But yeah, the investment to common referral sources doesn't seem to provide a great return. I do hear that it does, but I don't know if that's like therapist lore or based in actual experience. Because if you reach out to a therapist in your locality, often they are also wanting to increase their caseload. So it's this mutual interaction of we're both wanting to increase our caseloads.
Mm-hmm.
So by that stance, I don't want to refer to you. Like if I get a call and I can meet this person where they're at, I'm not going to then say, oh, well, I just spoke to Melissa last week and she's wanting, clients in this target. So let me just refer the client to this person. And then obviously with medical providers, there's this like pompous aura around their practices where it's like the doctor needs to enter every room with rolled out red carpet. You can't get meetings with them. They're not going to refer to you unless like your husband and them play golf together. Like,
Yeah. I mean, you have to have like, I did get a referral from my chiropractor once, but that's just because like
you already pay him.
Yeah, I already pay him. And then like, I kind of like, capture him as he's adjusting my neck, and just talk about my business and what I provide and the service I provide. So yeah, if you have like a one-on-one relationship with your doctor and and they're a captive audience while discussing your medical care, you can you can convince them of your, expertise, so to speak.
So I've always just tried to cut out the drama.
But you're right. You can't walk, at least not in the Charlotte area. I have not been able to walk into a doctor's office. You'll not be able to speak with anybody, an actual physician. And I understand why. I mean, they're very busy too. They're, they have
got to churn managers. They got to churn and burn with their 10-minute. What was the new
what are
practice?
They, 10 to 15 minute encounters or something?
What's the word of it where like therapists are starting to be pushed to do that with insurance?
Managed care?
I don't know. It was some other word that you were using like a year or two ago.
Oh, I was? Oh.
Yeah. Where they do like a flash assessment and then they send you on your way.
Yeah. I mean, the quick turnarounds of the appointments.
Yeah. There was some word.
I can't remember.
Anyway.
Maybe it'll come to me. Yeah. So, I mean, I created like at the start of my practice, like flyers and business cards and stuff like that. But I don't think there was any return on investment for that.
Nope.
It's very difficult to, I think, convince. No, that's not true. I don't want to say that. But if they don't already know you, then they're not going to refer their patients to you. And it's difficult to get that first introduction.
Right. Yep. Yeah, so in a perfect world, I could cut out the drama of kissing babies with referral sourcing and just improve my website, its copy, the SEO, maybe potential ads. And then ideally over time, you get word of mouth, which that's happened a couple of times.
I think I'm just going to pay someone to do my website. I've tried with Squarespace. I just don't have time. And it just ends up looking more and more formal and rigid, like the more I invest in it. And I'm like, I need somebody to like interview me, capture my voice, and then I can provide the copy because I know what I want to say, but I need it to be visually arranged in an artful way so that it doesn't come across as clinical as I seem to like. I put such a clinical spin on what I'm saying.
It's like too academic.
It's too academic. Yeah. And I think that could be off-putting for people at 2 a.m. when they're Googling their symptoms.
Yeah. The first run at my own copy was very in the weeds of like psychotherapy and method.
Yeah.
And then, it's an art form to try to curate copy that is designed in a client's voice in the way that they would articulate their problems.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like having all this knowledge in the backdrop that is not layman. in terms of psychotherapy, and then allowing it to be translated into the way that they would articulate and conceptualize it.
Yeah. So I need some help doing that.
Yeah. Did you check mine out?
Yeah, I checked yours out. Yeah, I think I'm going to change the name of my business anyway. And like, I already know like kind of like the concept I want. But yeah, I just can't figure out how to make it approachable rather than clinical and cold.
Yeah.
So
what do you want to change it to?
I think I'm going to change it to EMDR Therapy Works. I don't know if you, my
what
name
is it right now?
Melissa Martin Counseling.
Oh.
Yeah. Because Melissa means honeybee in Greek. And so I like the kind of the symbolism of bees, honey production. And then I was just going to use that like as kind of like an anchoring symbolic branding of my services.
Right. But you're throwing that out.
Yeah. No, yeah. I'm throwing out. I mean, I'm not. I can't. I'm just making it. I can't speak English. My attempt at writing is just too clinical.
Yeah. Well, you could always use some AI to give you some ideas.
Yeah, and I have. I've been using the free version of ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I pay it's like $20 a month. It is more than paid for itself in terms of just like business idea and approach and like what to do and when for certain things. It's definitely paid dividends.
Yeah.
Highly recommend. And I think we're at the prenatal stage of AI. And especially as therapists, like within 5-10 years, most therapists are going to be integrating AI into their practice. So as of now, there's not much competition.
Well, speaking of AI, I went to the doctor recently and she, because of course we only have 15 minutes, right? So it's like walks in and she's like speaking a mile a minute. And she's like, do you mind if I use AI to record this session so I can write my note at the end of the session? And I was like, or, the visit I think she used. And I was like caught off guard. And of course I said yes, but I really wanted to say no. And I read the note at the end of, so yeah, it got uploaded really quickly into my chart. And I read the note and it said that I was 35 years old. And I was like, oh, that's so awesome that AI thinks I'm 35. I love it. It's like, of course you can use AI every single time.
How terrifying though. What the fuck? What if you're like terminal or something? And it's like, client came in for mild congestion. Client has allergies. You have COPD.
Exactly. I was like, I pray to Jesus this AI isn't diagnosing me also.
Shit. Yeah, that's not good. And the reality of she didn't read. I mean, her note was probably 3 sentences.
Oh, it was actually because she used AI. It ended up being like 8 to 11 sentences. But in further in the note, it corrected my age because I can see that she went back and reread it. But she must have corrected it after she submitted it because it still said I was 35, and it was so funny. And then later, it had my real age.
Yeah.
I was like, damn you.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, hopefully they get that sorted with their patients. That
it was a little really alarming because it was on her cell phone. I was like, oh my God. Yeah, because I mean, there's this whole what is it called, like data as labor movement for people, basically advocating for people for us individuals to get paid for the data that we provide everybody.
Damn, that should have happened like in the 1980s.
Yeah, I mean, when they started collecting data for anything. And so, and it's going to her phone, but is it going to get deleted? I mean, and then that's another reason why I don't use AI through simple practice in my sessions, because it gets uploaded to simple practice, right? But they don't delete it.
No data
after
is
the
ever
notes.
deleted.
Exactly.
Data is like matter. It cannot be destroyed.
Exactly. Like it can either be created or destroyed. Yeah. And that frightens me. Because I don't know. I believe that if I'm going to be uploading data for them, we should all be getting paid for it.
Well, also too, if like this country starts to burn to the ground and becomes super authoritarian or crazy, like it's the new failed state, they're gonna access the data. Like if you think of any other time in history where the tides shifted and like the power structure shifted, they then weaponize data, or they construe data from the history and get people to like hate each other. I mean, we already see that with social media, but imagine if that was weaponized even further, and based on like what you said or shared or anything could be used against you.
Well, absolutely. I mean, look at 23andMe, right? I mean, like and I succumb to this too,
Yeah.
uploading, sending in my saliva samples and putting, now like my genome is mapped and put on the internet.
Yeah.
And then they had a huge data breach. I mean, that it
See,
is frightening.
now they're going to know you're a Jew. You're fucked.
That's exactly right. I've had many clients say, well, great. Now, people who hate Jews are going to figure out I have X percentage of Ashkenazi.
But hey, that's the fascinating part about technology is we have all these strong values about independence and privacy and all this, but whenever we have it right in front of us, we give it away.
Yeah.
Right. So identity, or that's facial recognition. We utilize that to unlock our phones, saliva samples to see who we're related to. Like we give up our rights.
But that's exactly right. Like 23andMe sells it as it's so useful because now you can learn about your health and you can find your sixth cousin twice removed. And so I bought into that, right? It seems like a great service, but no, it's a data company. Like Tesla, people think Tesla is a car company. No, Tesla is a data company.
Well,
They're collecting data on your driving.
And it may not create any kind of malicious dynamic now. The problem is if the power structures change, what is it used for? Because the game can change at any time, right? We've lived in a democracy for a while. That doesn't mean that we always will.
Exactly.
I mean, shit changes. And then what is all that data utilized for?
Or how is it manipulated to make, like you said earlier, to make it seem more, sinister than, my intentions really are or something.
Yep. Exactly. It's like the statement you share with me, show me the man, I'll show you the crime.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That's one of my most favorite movies with Tom Cruise, Minority Report. Have you ever seen it?
Yeah, it's been a long time, but yeah.
It's such a great movie about like the pre-thought police, and, they use these psychics to figure out who is thinking about crime.
Oh, I would be fucked.
Yeah, you have like the government thug stormtroopers flying into your house through the windows.
God, the thoughts I have on a daily basis, I'd just stay in jail.
Gee.
Yeah. I remember I was in a psych class, maybe an undergrad, where it started to talk about like, I don't know if they use the term irrational beliefs or like distorted cognition or something, but whatever the phenomenon was, is the brain will come up with really insane thoughts. Like, what if I drive off this bridge? Or what if I just punched this person? And that those thoughts are actually quite normal. It's the discernment between should I do it or not is where like the pathology begins. And that was very comforting to me because I've throughout my entire life and had initial thoughts that seemed really insane.
The calling of the void. Is there
something wrong with me?
Yeah, what do the French call it? In English, it's translated as the calling of the void. Like, maybe I should just jump, or maybe I should just drive the car off the bridge. Yeah.
But there's no like true desire to do that. It's just like a passing thought that happens without permission.
And if people don't know that, like, because I've had people, when I have to do suicide assessments, they've admitted to having calling of the void.
And they think there's something seriously wrong with them.
Or they know that that's not, but if the clinician's not trained, they'll be like, oh shit, this person has suicidal ideation. Off you go to get further evaluated.
Yeah.
Yeah. So understanding, I think that's having a good background in philosophy is really good too for psych majors.
And to just breathe when you have a client that shares something that may cause concern. Just take a breath. Because I see that often with clients that I'm referred to with addiction history. And a lot of times it's not even very severe. But, and again, this is like parent and client report of the way that the therapist engaged with the client. But often they seem to go into like panic mode anytime they hear any kind of substance abuse with adolescents. They go into like severe panic and refer out, and they like their initial intervention is to get them into IOP. Like that's their immediate response. And I think that can be maladaptive and can have some kind of inverse effect. If I'm 16 experimenting with weed and then now I'm in IOP, I'm getting drug tested.
Yeah.
That's not good. Chill the fuck out.
Well, my concern as a parent is like the kids that my child would be around.
True.
IOP.
But the labeling effect, right? Like you're a problem now. Like you're not allowed to experiment with anything. We're going to like restrict this behavior. We're going to punish you.
Oh yeah. So the response, so everything being going on behavior patrol. Okay. As opposed to trying to figure out what's going on with this kid that he needs to sever or dissociate. What is the core issue? But yeah, sometimes they don't do that, right? They just go straight to managing the behavior.
Yeah, because they're afraid. And something that I find myself saying to parents of adolescents, if I'm seeing the adolescent for therapy, I keep it vague, but what I often tell them is that the behavior is usually the last thing that changes. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, the behavior is usually the last thing that changes, because a parent's motivation for referring their child to therapy is usually going to be to change behavior. That's like 99% of the time. There's a behavior that I perceive as risky or dangerous or makes me uncomfortable. And I would like for you, Evan, the therapist, to change that. Mm-hmm. And so they're very outcome driven, just like anyone else. So when I say behavior is the last thing to change, it's because we'd be approaching it how you were recommending, right? If a child or an adolescent has some kind of exploratory substance use, if we were going just in to try to change the behavior to appease the parent, we would send them to IOP. Mm-hmm. If we were trying to figure out like the core cause or origin, or where's this coming from, this need to dissociate or to escape, what are the emotions that we're trying to distract from, the behaviors would still be happening as we explored those emotions. So say we did that for 3-6 months. Most of the time, the behaviors aren't really going to change very much. They might minimize slightly, but they're not going to just go away. It would be much more gradual. So that behavior is not an on-off switch.
Then at what point do you think a higher level of care would be necessary?
Level of unmanageability and risk. So,
in terms of, like, now the person's selling the drugs or hanging out with like a...
Yeah, or they're beginning to explore new substances. They have bad grades. They're starting to get involved with police. Stuff like that. So I think the context matters too. And what others also don't seem to understand is even with an adolescent, I think as a parent or even as an adult, we have this pseudo belief or expectation that whatever information we provide them or guidance we provide them is going to have a causal effect on their behavior. But once you get to adolescence, that level of autonomy just shifts in such a different direction where you can say whatever the fuck you want. They're going to do whatever they want. Like, and that's the hard part, because obviously their brain isn't fully developed either. So it's like, as an adult, we might try to share the way that our brain works with executive functioning and our prefrontal cortex. We talk about risk reward to the adolescent. It's Charlie Brown teacher.
Yeah.
Because they don't have the skills, even anatomically, to conceptualize the way that we are. So they might just say, oh, here they go again. Or they think they know everything. They don't know anything about me. They don't understand. They block it by saying that. But I think in all actuality, they literally can't conceptualize it. It's like 4th level math and they're on the 1st.
Yeah.
So they're just staring at the whiteboard and it's easier to just say, oh, the teacher's an idiot than I have no idea what they're talking about.
Are you talking about like more of those like CBT based interventions? Or what are you referring to?
Yes, but I was just more so thinking about a common parent interaction with an adolescent that is engaging in risk-taking behavior.
Oh, okay.
Right? I find out this adolescent's being risky. I'm going to share with them all the potential consequences.
As a parent or the therapist?
As a parent. It's like, it doesn't matter.
Oh, you're saying, okay, so you're saying that kids just can't even conceptualize long-term consequences. Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
You just keep telling them and they're like, what?
Well, I mean, it's funny. I mean, this is like a minor example, but like my husband and I have a rule that we don't, and it's not fair, but we don't want our, she was like 10 or 11 at the time, and now she's 14. We don't want her riding her bike to the 7-Eleven at the corner. It's like on the edge of our neighborhood because it's at a juncture of 2 major roads.
Yeah.
And it's where, everybody and their dog gets their cigarettes and their alcohol and, their snacks and their sodas on their way to work, on their way home for work. I mean, it's Grand Central Station, and we don't want her riding her bike there by herself. It's not safe. And what does she do? Ask permission to go on a bike ride? Like, sure, of course you can go on a bike ride. But she fails to say, I'm going to 7-Eleven to load up on my snacks. You don't want me to go. She's not buying healthy food. There's no healthy food at 7-Eleven. And she's loading up on, gummy bears and chocolate-covered pretzels and soda and everything in between. And of course, we're finding, all of this junk food, like the wrappers and the couch and under the couch. But so it's like there's a couple things going on. She's not making healthy food choices, but B, she's straight up disobeying. And you're right, like explaining to her that she can get kidnapped or, hit by a car as she's riding down the road. It's above and beyond. And it's shocking to me, right? Because at 14, you would think that she could understand like getting hit by a car, getting kidnapped, because I grew up I grew up in the 80s, so that's entirely different. But I felt like back then I had much more awareness of danger than kids do. She just doesn't have any street smarts. I mean, that's what it boils down to. But you're right. Like she just doesn't, it's kind of like deer in the headlights when I try to explain to her the risks.
Well, that executive functioning is obviously lacking in adolescence. I also wonder if it's ego, because when I was an adolescent, if someone told me a story about, I don't know, someone getting hit by a car on the way to the 7-Eleven on a bike and that I needed to be careful, I didn't have the ability to put myself in someone else's shoes. The only thing that I could do was think to myself, well, I've never been hit by a car on the way to that 7-Eleven. So therefore, that would never happen to me because it hasn't happened. Like, it was all through my own individual experience. It hasn't happened to me, therefore it's not going to. That's for everyone else.
So maybe I should just hit her with my car and teach her a lesson.
But do you ever do that where you're like, oh, it hasn't? I mean, adults do that shit too, but we think, oh, it hasn't happened to me, therefore it never will happen to me. I'm like special.
Okay, so I think then I have had the privilege of not living that life because I grew up, one of my brothers was medically complex, and I could see, he would be whisked away to the hospital in an ambulance once a month. So yeah, I think because of my unique experiences, I've had to develop like a theory of mind sooner than maybe a lot of kids do. And I tell my husband all the time, I'm like, we have done our children a disservice by seeking out like a stable neighborhood, a stable high school. Like, we should have just moved back to New Orleans and let them fend for themselves, pick a gang they want to join.
The rock is too smooth.
Do what?
The rock is too smooth.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they just...
You need some rough edges to grip the rock, right?
Yeah. But no, I think that's probably what is going on because she just maybe doesn't have any basis for comparison or can't extrapolate that getting hit by a car on the way to 7-Eleven could happen to me, even though it's never happened to her.
Well, we need bad things to happen to us.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good teacher, right?
And yeah, that's counterintuitive to when we're looking after younger people.
Mm-hmm.
And then how much should we allow them to fall versus reach back and get the control as much as we can.
Yeah, and that's been a real lesson too, right? As a parent, for letting my kids fail so that they fail forward rather than trying to prevent all failures and then they never learn grit or never learn, how to overcome challenges.
Yeah.
And I've had to have my own come to Jesus about that.
Yeah, I've talked to concerned parents about their adolescents in therapy. And anytime I do that, unless there's inherent risk of suicidality or like dangerous behavior, I'm very vague. And I try to keep it as much on the parent and share the summary about the client.
Mm-hmm.
But I said something that, I think is on par with proper therapeutic concept. Maybe you can answer this for me. Because we were talking about like drug testing and behavioral modification, and like that's their primary thing that they see is behavior. And I went on this tangent about how the unfortunate reality is we can measure behavior and try to curb it as much as we want, but the adolescent has to be intrinsically motivated for change, or you'll just experience rebellion and ongoing behavior.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's negative.
And then like one step further, the unwanted behavior will just go underground. So now they're just performative. Oh, I'm just for the sake of my own survival, my own self-preservation, I'm going to pretend that I'm compliant, but now I'm going to get better at being sneaky.
And then the feedback I gave the parents often is the most important thing you can do as a parent when your adolescent is engaging in risky behavior is to work on your own capacity to regulate. So it's their own emotional reactions to their own fears of their child or their potential projection of shame onto their child that would be the most adaptive way to curb their child's behavior, which I think is not often what an adult is going to hear from a therapist about an adolescent, unfortunately. It becomes all about the adolescent.
Yeah.
But human's going to do what the human's going to do.
Well, I mean, ultimately, though, the parent is legally responsible for their kids. So I can understand why they don't want, I mean, obviously, no one has children to hope that they grow up to be criminals or engage in, unwanted social practices. But I think you're right. I mean, regulating your own emotions is going to help teach your child that you're a safe person to confide in.
And I used also this analogy recently about, it's like tree conservation. So when we're trying to make our kids act right, the knee-jerk reaction is punishment and to take things away. That's how I'm going to adjust the behavior. The most proper way to do tree conservation is if you cut a tree down, you need to plant one. So when you think of taking something away, like obviously as a parent, you got to set boundaries and limits. You can't just be, oh, this is free reign and I'm only going to love you. We take something away, but we have to integrate something else because there is some void or discontentment or unfulfillment or lack of meaning or purpose in that kid's life that is probably attracting them to dissociation or escapism or the chasing of dopamine. So we just take things away. The need
Are you
for
talking
that.
about when you say that's so vague though? Are you saying like when we take away marijuana, when we take away pills?
Sorry, no, like something they want, like their phone, going out with friends, a movie, a video game, something that they want. So we have to integrate something new. If we take something away, it has to be filled with something, or they're just in limbo and have dopamine depletion.
So what would you recommend gets added?
I think what I see with adolescents and high risk behavior, this would be one example. I would integrate them into some kind of team. So if they're like smoking a lot of weed and skateboarding and putting graffiti on schools and getting caught and all this shit, I would take away their ability to go do that, right? Somehow.
But not just like, you're locked up in the house.
You're locked away and you're grounded for 6 months. But I would take away that avenue and then be like, okay, well, you and I are going to go, we're going to go get a climbing gym membership together. Like I would do something, like I would want the parent to do something with them or, until they could like adapt and do it on their own.
Yeah.
Like, go out and try something new together.
So the maladaptive behavior, like let's just use smoking marijuana as an example, is about dissociation, but it might also be dissociating from loneliness, you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Or a lack of membership.
A lack of membership.
Accountability with groups.
But then marijuana use can also be an avenue to finding friends. Yeah. But now you're finding like antisocial friends and so you're saying, okay, yeah, we'll take away whatever avenue you're using to seek out the marijuana, but we're going to add in connection in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
Okay. So connection with a team, with an organization, with a hobby. Yeah, absolutely.
Because if you're eating a bunch of trash and gaining some weight, you don't just stop eating. You incorporate healthy foods and you take away the Hershey's Kisses. Because I think parents don't have time to incorporate new things into the kid's life. They just restrict and hope for the best. Start acting right now. But we're not creating new avenues or pathways for that culture. Social development or that team membership.
Yeah, because something's gone wrong in this system if the child needs to start dissociating with marijuana or pills or whatever it is. And so that's what's got to be focused on is creating a healthier system with the parents' leadership.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been thinking about. I've got a number of adolescents.
I wonder if the IOPs, do you think they are holistic like that, like systemically?
Hell no. You ever worked in treatment?
Yeah, I know. I haven't. Yeah.
They probably have equestrian trail on their website, but I
Or the
doubt
rooftop pool.
Yeah, I doubt they have either of those. They maybe did it once before the owners just kept taking too many owner distributions from the top.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we can't afford equestrian trails anymore.
That's so funny.
I bought my Tesla.
Did
you get your Tesla?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I got it last year, and then Mike replaced his truck with a Tesla too.
So you're just giving all your data away now?
Giving all the data. Like every time it says, do you want to share your data? I'm like, no.
It's like, we're doing it anyway. We just want to give you a false sense of autonomy.
Exactly. It's controlled choice. Yeah. You may not be agreeing now, but you'll agree eventually.
Yeah. Does it have the autonomy where it'll measure if you're actually looking at the road or not, and then it'll put you on probation?
I don't have that. I didn't pay to have the self-driving capability. But yeah, you can end up in timeout for like a few months. From when my neighbor has it, I didn't want to pay the $8,000 upgrade for it.
Yeah,
I don't need it.
Well, it's that, and then a subscription, right? Monthly.
I think
for autonomy.
So.
Yeah. Of course, those fuckers did a subscription, the based model. Hey, if I ran the business, that's what I would have done too.
Yeah. It's really nice though. I can take Zoom calls. Like I parked in my garage yesterday or a couple of days ago. I had to take a Zoom call, and I got Zoom, I got Gronk, I got a lot of things in there. I can just hit through my console.
And then the camera's through the car somehow for Zoom.
Yeah.
That's cool. Does it block out that you're in a car very well?
I didn't toggle that. I was like, hey, I'm in my garage, so y'all just get to see all my garage junk.
Yeah.
But it's great. I mean, the price has come down so much that, because we were looking at like a Toyota Highlander, a Toyota RAV4.
Those are expensive. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I'm not going to buy an American-made car. Tesla obviously is the closest I've come to that. But I wanted a Toyota. Honda's pissing me off. So I've had the last two cars I had were Honda. So I was like, I want something different. And Mike was the one who came up with the idea about Tesla. And I was like, I don't know. I didn't know enough about it, but I really like it. I really like it. I mean, I love not paying for gas. I love not paying for oil changes. I bought like a tire service through Discount Tire. So I don't even pay for rotations. I just have to pay to get new tires every 2 years, every year and a half to 2 years, because it's a heavy car. So the tires wear down faster. So that's the only thing. But it's that buying 4 new tires every year and a half to 2 years is still cheaper than gas and oil changes.
Really?
Yeah.
I need to show you something. I forgot about this. I'm going to have to share it. You can keep talking. But,
yeah. Because I was really pissed off at Honda because every time I took my car in for an oil change, which should have been like $59, $65, they found $900 worth of work that just absolutely had to be done.
Really?
And then
where do you take Teslas to? There's like a Tesla.
There's a Tesla dealership here in town.
Okay.
And I know I need my 2-year service, so I can schedule that out like 8 months in advance. And it's cheaper. Like when it comes time to buy a new battery, that's going to be significantly cheaper than buying an entirely new car.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right, I'm going to share this TikTok. Does
it make fun of Tesla drivers?
No, it's all right, let's see if this works. All right, can you see this?
Yeah.
There's a whole trend on TikTok right now where people are self-diagnosing themselves autistic. No doctor. They have motivational music playing, and then they put text above their heads that they point to in like a real smug way. They're like, I used to be afraid of large crowds. I thought I was socially awkward. Turns out, I've been masking my autism for 27 years. What if we only use the word retarded for those people? That's it. Never for anyone with a disability or anyone with a special need. Just anytime someone is like, yeah, I'm self-diagnosed autistic, you can be like, oh, you're fucking retarded. And they'll be like, yeah, because they're full of shit.
Oh, Evan, we're going to get in such trouble. You're going to be, they're going to demand you issue an apology.
Retard! It's going to keep shouting retard.
Never go full retard, Evan. Never.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny.
That is funny. Yeah, it's so sad too because no one behavior is pathological, right? Like behavior has to be seen holistically within a context.
I don't think
over time.
I don't think most people that are actually autistic would self-diagnose.
No.
I mean, just go to a climbing gym. You'll find all the autistic people you need.
Hey, I mean, yeah. That's like any hobby, right? I mean, you're going to have people who are diehard enthusiasts. That doesn't mean they have autism.
Right, yeah. Just because you're socially awkward doesn't mean you have autism. Just because you don't seem as outgoing compared to your friend in a group does not mean you're autistic. You have to meet a number of different criteria. Just because you smoke weed every day doesn't mean you're a drug addict, right?
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, it just depends, right? On the severity.
Yeah, that goes to something else that I'm concerned with, which is the term neurodivergence. We're just, as therapists, throwing that term around like it's a hot cake.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's such an umbrella term.
It's an umbrella term. It is. Because, I mean, but somebody can have like quirks and not meet diagnostic criteria for autism. Somebody can have, sensory processing disorder and that might look on the outside like the person has autism, but that not really be autism. So yeah, right. It's such an umbrella term.
I've done networking where therapists pretty much within the first two sentences of the conversation tell me that they are neurodivergent.
And it's like, what are you supposed to do with that information?
Yeah, like why? Okay, I don't care. And secondly, how? Because I haven't noticed anything in this conversation that would depict any kind of neurodivergence. Like, what? You just need a sense of belonging? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Maybe it's a social contagion too. Just that term. Or that need. Yeah. It's like we all need to be special, so nobody's special.
Right.
Like with tattoos, they used to be so like counterculture, but now everybody's got tattoos and it's unoriginal now. What's original is not having tattoos.
Yeah, that's fringe now.
or weird piercings.
Yeah. I got a random matching, or it's not, what is it when you get a tattoo that integrates with someone else's tattoo?
I don't know.
What is that called?
Is that like the friendship necklaces that say best and then friend and you put them together and they say best friend?
Right, yeah, but it's with tattoos.
Oh, don't people call that matching tattoos?
Well, I thought matching would be the same tattoo.
Oh, hell if I know.
Yeah, I think it's the safer way to do that is to not get a matching tattoo or their name on your tricep. It would be, you got to get like tattoos that piece together, but if you never see each other again, it just looks like your own tattoo.
That would take some planning.
Yeah. You don't have any tattoos?
No.
No. Like a good Catholic.
No. I mean, Catholics don't have a prohibition against tattoos, but there's just no symbol or writing or word that I would ever want to see on my body for the rest of my life. And
Tell
then
me, what about tell me about your mother?
And then and then with like pregnancy and weight loss and weight
We should
gain
get
and
the,
weight loss, it's like,
We
why?
should get the
Why
podcast.
would we be all distorted and like,
no, let's get the
no.
podcast emblem on us.
When I was in high school, I went to Europe on this field trip, and there was this elderly woman, God bless her, and she was like 8,000 years old, and she was in a wheelchair, and I saw her arms, and on one of her arms, she had on the inside of her arm was the Popeye anchor. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen a pop, but it was all distorted because she was elderly now. And I was like, now that just looks, I mean, it probably meant something to her at the time in which she got it, but I was like, now it just looks creepy and weird.
Yeah. Holy shit. I just remembered I dreamt that I died last night. Huh.
Oh, where'd you go?
So the weird thing is I don't have the memory of dying. I have the memory of third body view or out of body view of my ashes. Like my sister was carrying my ashes in the church.
And you knew it was you in the urn?
Yeah. So I wasn't there. I was observing. And then I remember relief because ever since I was a kid, I was like, what if when you die, you feel like your consciousness still exists? So like all these people in coffins, they're just like, you're just stuck for eternity in a fucking dark box.
Oh, Jesus.
Or crematoriums, you feel the being cooked into ash. I remember in the dream, I was relieved that I didn't have any sensory experience of being cremated. And then I woke up.
Oh my God, that'd be awful.
Yeah.
What was the
feeling? That's been
the feeling of relief?
Yeah, not that I was dead, but that I did not feel pain being cremated.
Well, that's good.
Also, what's interesting about crematoriums, in movies, there's always a window when someone's cremated. You notice that?
Mm-hmm.
So there's not actually windows when you're cremated.
How do you know?
Because my dad was a florist. I got the hookup.
Oh, you got to go see a
funeral homes.
Oh, crematorium. Yeah.
And morbidly obese people that are cremated, there's a lot of accounts where there's actually explosions that occur when they're cremated.
Oh, because of all the fat? The fat heats up and explodes like grease?
The fireball shoots up because there's actual chimneys in crematoriums. It'll shoot fire out of the fucking chimney.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that crazy? I had a client a long time ago in treatment that was a morticianer. That was very interesting. I think I told you about that, but
I don't think you have.
Oh, yeah. We just, shoot the shit in the beginning of the session. And usually for that client, it meant I was going to learn about how to keep someone's jaw shut in a casket or how prideful he was that he was the most skilled embalmer in the funeral home.
How do you evaluate that? Like, what's the measurement to be the most
Because you
skilled?
can miss. So embalming, it's not as if they just put an IV in and it embalms you.
No, it's a very violent process. The way they stab the body and get the fluids out and let the fluids drain.
Yep. And so you can't miss organs and stuff, because then if you inject it into just like the void of the stomach, it'll create issues. So you have to be like very precise and know exactly anatomically where all the organs are and how much to put where. All sorts of shit.
No, that was one of the things that really upset me when my mom died. Was like my dad didn't want to cremate her. He's like, I can't do that to your grandfather. And I was like, what are you talking about?
What does that mean?
I think he felt like my grandfather would be so offended if my mom had been cremated versus buried, in a coffin. I just thought about that because I knew the process was violent. And I was like, oh, Jesus, I don't want that happening to my mother. But yeah, nobody listens to me. So she was buried, but my uncle, we got him cremated, and I was much happier with that.
Well, my question is, anecdotally, I think most people are buried in my immediate sphere. Where the fuck are we burying all these people?
On top of each other. But that's a question too, because I was really confused because so my other uncle by marriage, he has a family crypt in New Orleans, so it's above ground, and
Fancy.
Yeah, well, it has to be above ground because of the water table.
Oh, right, hurricane
No,
and all that.
that's just
true
geography and reality. But his mother was called Mima. And I was like, well, what did they do with Mima and all of her ancestors? And he's like, well, they just bury her on top of them. And I was like, but they're all coffins. I don't think so. I don't think it's coffin after coffin after coffin after coffin. I think that, I don't know. I got to ask more questions, but I was kind of left with this question. Like, do they take out the coffins and then what do they do with the skeletons?
Well, if you're not a member of a church or your family isn't, where are you buried? It's a church thing.
Not always. They have some private cemeteries, like funeral homes can own cemeteries.
Yeah.
Because I think my mother's buried in a cemetery that's not church related.
Hey, are we cremating more people than I think? We have to be, because there wouldn't be any room.
Well, the Catholic Church made, I'm going to use a terrible term, but because English is escaping me today, but they made kosher cremating bodies and burying them in mausoleums. So our church has a mausoleum, and you can put your loved one's ashes in it. So it's like a little safety deposit box.
Nice.
In a slab of granite. So that's very respectful, but that just came about like 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. The idea of burying the dead is weird to me.
As opposed to what?
I guess cremation or like beating by wolves or something. Like, I mean, obviously burying or mausoleums, like that is for the living. Man, I think, yeah, we're saying it's for the dead, but you're fucking dead. It's for the living to have some kind of like symbolic representation of you, or helps with like the grieving process. There's somewhere to go and communicate or connect, or like you're represented at this space still, even though you're gone. But in reality, you're just gone. You're nothing in terms of like earth and existence here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it just depends upon what your religious beliefs are about all that. But yeah, I mean,
but even in believing like afterlife, you're still not here.
Oh yeah, you're not corporeal.
I mean, yeah, like you're gone.
Yeah, but I mean, then your body becomes a health hazard. That's another reason why I don't really like the idea of embalming. It puts all that fluid into the system, and I mean, you're going to be worm food regardless. But I definitely think cremation's probably like a more ecological way to go, in my humble opinion. I mean, then they have also like, you can be buried in like a compost. There's like companies that do that, and then
there's this NPR episode talking about a fungi suit where you're like wrapped up in this fungus and then buried with a tree bulb.
Yeah.
And so there's no toxins released, and you become a tree, kind of.
Oh, so it's circle of life, right? This is like a real like yeah, I'm having this like Mufasa moment, right? Like circle of life. Yeah.
But yeah, we were talking about adolescence, and now we're talking about death. So,
well, maybe your dream just resolved for you in your mind the fear of being cremated.
Oh yeah, that's why we started talking about death. Yep. Well, I should definitely share the reel of the guy talking about being retarded for sure. Maybe I'll get another email. Oh yeah, I could tell the people, the few that listen religiously to our podcast, we appreciate you. I got an email from a fellow therapist requesting, or no, she said, I got this episode referred to me by a fellow colleague, really liked XYZ. However, noticed that you used the word retarded, and I'm just very upset by that, and I think that you should apologize in your show notes. So I just responded with, this podcast isn't for everyone.
Yeah, I know. It's not for everyone. But I think it's so offensive to me, though, is the idea that you and I would use that word to be offensive, to belittle or to make fun of somebody, because that's not something you and I would ever do.
No.
So if we use that word, it's to call out behavior or thought processes by people who should know better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like when somebody says, oh, that's retarded, they're talking about like the idea being like a roadblock, or the idea being a non-starter in some way, shape, or form. It's not to belittle the human being. It's to discuss ideas. It's a word to criticize, to criticize ideas. It's not to criticize a person.
Yeah. The concerning part is how personalized that became, and then all the energy expelled to send that email.
Yeah, exactly.
Concerning to me.
Because to me, like, nuance and context are so important.
Mm-hmm.
And if it would take a lot for me to carve out time during my day to send an email criticizing someone's word choice.
We also have a long email handle. Contact us at tellmeaboutyourmother.run. That's a lot of letters.
It's not easy to, it doesn't just flow off the tongue. Yeah.
By design.
But, I think maybe we should talk about this next time we meet, is the trend that has been present, and maybe it's dying like all trends do, but the distinction between right think and wrong think, that infuriates me to no end.
And the issue with it is, if we get into that type of conversation, there's always going to be an enforcer, and dependent upon who is in power, they get to determine what is right. It's not collective.
It's not collective.
There's no way for it to be.
Yeah. I think in my journey to become a more critical thinker, I've had to take note of my emotions that come up for me when I'm reading something, and then follow the thought process of where are these feelings coming from, and what does it say about me, and what issues I need to deal with. Mm-hmm. Because everything's a mirror, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And this is what has helped me no longer argue with people on the internet. That was a journey unto itself. But yeah, I mean, it's futile.
Oh, I got caught arguing with someone recently on the internet, and they looked up my so it was just two comments back and forth, and I was not at all aggressive or name calling or minimizing. It was literally just like a stance. And they found a negative review on my Google profile that was from that millennial person. And sorry if you're listening. And they screenshot it and posted it on the comment thread and was like, I can't believe a therapist would be saying this, and have this type of ideological stance. Like, how dare you? Like, don't send anyone to this person.
It is so bullying.
Like, holy
right?
Shit. It's crazy.
Bullying. I can't take it. But the irony, right? We're in a profession that's supposed to help people become more psychologically well.
Yeah.
And then you as a professional disagree with somebody, which is fine. EMDR therapists are going to disagree, for example. Mm-hmm. But then
let me say that the person wasn't a therapist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. This was more like political conversation.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But it was just some fucking uneducated old white redneck. trying to like shame me. He did his FBI detective work.
There's something about you, Evan, and I've never put my finger on it, of what elicits old people wanting to shame you. Like, that just is such a behavioral theme.
So also, over the summer, I was playing soccer. We were playing against this team that's very unskilled, out of their element. And by the ending of the game, they just started like malicious fouling, like dangerous fouls, not going for the ball at all. I looked at the ref. I was like, you need to end this game. They're not even playing the ball. Like, we're going to get injured out here. We're up by 6 goals. He wouldn't do it. And so then I took it upon myself to set a boundary. And I looked at this guy and I said, if you foul me like that, I will beat your fucking ass in the parking lot. And that was it. That's all I said, right? Referee's not going to take charge. I'm going to protect myself here.
Hell yeah.
He gave me a red card and sent me off. Like, whatever. So apparently after the ref came over the sideline and he's like, oh, there's people on the sidelines that are like, and he's a therapist. He's acting like that and he's a therapist. Like, am I supposed to be a fucking priest?
But there goes that cultural trend, right?
Like what the fuck?
Of like doctors and like doctors, priests, counselors, therapists. We're not allowed to be people. We're not allowed to be sick. We're not allowed to have a bad day. I mean, like, I found myself the other day, I had this weird coughing fit and it was so bad. I had to get up and leave my room in session. And of course I'm like apologizing to my client. And she's like, why? You're a human being. You just had a coughing fit. It's no big deal. And I was like, to have, a client, like to be that compassionate back towards me is not something I frequently experience.
Mm. No, we're supposed to be a therapist wherever we walk.
Yeah, we're not supposed to be human beings who have real needs, wants, and feelings.
But then when we use therapist speak around a regular human, we're being condescending, and we need to just, stop acting like a therapist. It's a lose-lose.
Mm-hmm.
If you act like a therapist with your partner or out in public, they're like, oh, here we go again, because they feel threatened because they think we're being pompous. But then if we act human and I tell you, if you do that again, I'm going to beat your fucking ass in the parking lot. And guess what? I was serious. Oh God, he's a therapist. I can't believe he would say that.
Yeah. So you're just supposed to take the abuse. Minister. No, that's ridiculous. And what kind of precedent are you setting by taking abuse?
Yeah.
Like that doesn't
this is a boundary.
Yeah.
And if you want to kick me out of the game, good. I didn't want to play in this anymore anyway. Because you're not doing your job. Like, as a referee, it should never get to that point. You should have control before then. They should have been thrown out.
For fun anyway. I mean,
yeah, it's fucking adult league.
Yeah. I'd be like, we haven't met our annual deductible yet, so we cannot be playing like this.
So that was the semifinal game. And then I wasn't allowed to play in the final. I sent an email to the director. And apparently the other team in the final, a number of them had requested that I be allowed to play.
Oh, good.
Because like I was one of the better players on the team, and they wanted to be competitive. And they're not fouling and being idiots. Like, it would have been fun. But the director, he got all fancy with me and was like, because I sent him a summary. It's like, yeah, asked the ref he needed to stop the game. It was getting really violent. There's only 2 minutes left. He wouldn't. And so then I set my own boundary. He's like, well, this is, you're complaining about the ref and you're not taking accountability for the things that you said. So no, you can't play. I'm like, all right. It's like, I got to protect myself, and he wasn't doing it. Whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but the thing is, like, why that man was going to fuck around and find out? Like, why would you violently foul somebody on the field
over and over again?
Over and over again, right? Yeah. It wasn't just an accident.
No.
And then not expect there to be some sort of consequence. Like, why are people not allowed to defend themselves? I mean, you see this in elementary schools too, right? Like, I think this is a few years ago, but this boy was teasing my stepdaughter. So she called him a name. She like stood up in class and said, stop, you fucking whatever.
You're a pussy.
She was the one who got sent to the principal's office.
Oh yeah. It's always the second person.
Yeah. Also. Or my stepson was bullied in 7th grade. And this kid was like teasing him and teasing him and teasing him. And so one day Robert just lost his temper and shoved him into a locker, like nice. Through like a shoulder And Robert got sent to the office.
What a demon.
I know. And Mike and I were like, well, why are you punishing him? He didn't, this was a response to behavior that's been ongoing. But it's like laws of the jungle, right? The boy never teased or said anything to Robert ever again.
Yep. Found another victim.
Probably. But, you have to stand up for yourself.
Yeah. Especially when you're looking to a teacher or a referee or someone to do their job and they're not officiating that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, I'm sure a teacher or an adult had seen the bullying on some level and not done enough or not done anything. So what are you supposed to do?
Yeah. I told Robert I was proud of him because he ended it, right? The kid never bothered him again.
Yeah.
Because
That's
if you can't play by, that's the thing about like this online bullying too, right? Like between therapists or like in that political forum you're talking about, is the person doing the aggressing is already not playing by the rules. So then when you as the quote victim or on the receiving end of the behavior no longer play by the rules, why does the authority figure or everybody else attack the second person for not playing by the rules? I'm sure I've been guilty of doing that as a parent, right? But I've had to learn you have to punish everybody. I'm kidding. You don't everybody, but you got to look at things like, an accident investigator would and see how do we get to this situation?
Well, if you can join the wave of the aggressor, no one is looking at you because the person's on the defense.
Right. Yeah. And it's like the real question, for that soccer game is who's in charge. The referee was not taking charge.
No.
So then that guy's thinking he's in charge. So you had to take charge.
But shame on me because I'm a therapist and I shouldn't have threatened someone. I would like to formally apologize. Maybe I could put that in the show notes of this episode. I would like to apologize for anyone that was watching that soccer game that may have felt a little disheartened or scared knowing that I was a therapist and that I verbally threatened someone that was physically threatening me. I'd like to formally apologize.
But didn't he already injure you? I mean, he already physically made contact, so it wasn't
numerous times with me and others. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'm very, very sorry about that, everyone. God, I bet there's some people that hear me on here and they just want to smack the shit out of me.
But I don't think so. Like, why? Why would you?
Well, stop listening.